Good morning, Packers fans. Aaron Negler here with Cheesehead TV with your Packers Daily Chat. That's right. It's Memorial Day. We keep going here at Cheesehead TV. We don't take days off, Monday through Friday. Hope you guys are having a good Memorial Day wherever you are. It's the start of it. Hope it continues to be good. The Packers are back at it tomorrow, OTAs. We will get our first glimpse of them, I believe, on Wednesday. And then about 10 days away from the mini camp, which is required attendance. But this week, it's still voluntary. So anything you see about guys missing, wide receivers not there, maybe a certain quarterback, pay it no heed. It's voluntary. Doesn't mean a thing. Hope you're all good. Hope you're having a good weekend. Good to see everybody in the comments section. Janelle, happy Memorial Day. Nick, Memorial Day to one of my favorite cheeseheads carrying the G. Thanks, Nick. We don't take days off except Saturday and Sunday. Exactly, Joe. I mean, the precedent is set through Monday through Friday, Joe. Come on, buddy. Stick with the program. Morning, Sandy. Hope you're well. Beautiful Gig Harbor. Oh, what's up, Danny? How are you doing, man? Johnny, salute. Hope you're doing well. I'm here voluntarily with an attitude of gratitude. There you go, Matt. That's what I'm talking about. Carrying the G wherever you are, Matt. I like it. Cyril, how are you, man? Can you name a few past players that may have served? Perhaps the list is too massive. It's funny because if you go back into especially the early parts of the Green Bay Packers, there are a ton. It's funny because World War II shaped such a kind of time in the NFL history where you had large swaths of players going over to serve and then coming back, and some returned to the league and some didn't. In the modern era, I think the one we all remember is Chris Gizzy. The Cheesehead TV staff competes in an NFL style combine, after which who is the number one overall pick? Oh my God. Not Corey or I. That's all I know. Big B's here. What's up, man? How you doing? Finally up early enough to catch Cheesehead TV live. Good morning from Oregon, Nags. What's up, Michael? You're up bright and early. Hope you're doing well, man. Lombardi era, most famous with Horning. Yes, Danny, correct. There were a few others as well. Today, we remember the fallen and the freedoms they fought for. Hope everyone has a joyous day. Drew, thanks for that sentiment. Very, very nice of you. Who will stick around as the fourth tight end, Sternberger or Daphne? That's the question I think that's going to be asked throughout the entirety of the offseason. I think Sternberger clearly has the leg up simply because he's a former third-round pick. But if Daphne keeps doing what he's doing, he's got a real shot. And you guys know, I've made it no secret that I really like Jace, and I really want him to stick around. I think he's got a ton of upside. But hey, Daphne helps you on special teams and is really good on special teams. He really came on like gangbusters towards the end of last year. So if you're making roster decisions, that's a pretty important distinction for a guy further down the depth chart at a position. So I think Jace is in for a fight to stick around. Now, I say all that, watch both of them get cut. We'll see. What will the media talk about when June 1st comes and Rodgers isn't traded? Top 5 reasons Rodgers should have been traded. Look for that. I love what I heard from Tunyon on the Rich Eisen show. Really good kid. It was a great appearance. You should definitely check him out on the podcast he did alongside George Kittle for Barstool. That was excellent. Do you think inside backer is the Achilles heel to our defense, even with the new defense? Not necessarily, especially when you look at what the Rams did last year with not a ton of talent at that position as well. Now, the caveat is always, someone always jumps to it, is yes, the Rams have Aaron Donald. No doubt about it. But, part of the reason Donald is so impressive is his ability to create absolute havoc in an instant, and no matter how you try to block him. Clearly, the Packers and no other NFL team has a player of that caliber. However, it's not like Vic Fangio has only ever implemented a scheme with the Los Angeles Rams. He stymied Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy for years down in Chicago. And, he's been doing very good work in Denver as well. And that is the scheme that they are utilizing. So Do I think the Packers are done at inside backer? Not necessarily, but I don't think they'd be up against it or anything if they had to roll into the season with what they've got. Hmm. The Nitro. What's up, Brandy? How are you? I almost missed your chat here. The Nitro package has the Smiths and Gary on the field at the same time. You see this package moving forward with Barry? Some semblance of it. I don't know if they'll call it that or if they'll continue to use it the exact same way. But yes, you'll see the three of them and probably Kenny on the field at the same time a lot this year, I would think. If Green Bay wants to truly contend for a Super Bowl, we should definitely go for Jones. If he falls in the hands of another conference contender, we're in trouble. What? Wide receiver? Since when are wide receivers the balance of power? I mean, is Tom Brady going with him? Because that would probably help. I don't understand this need to add an aging wide receiver. Would it augment the offense? Would it take pressure off Davante Adams? Does he still have a little bit left in the tank? No doubt about it. But undoubtedly, someone is going to overpay to try and get Julio Jones. And it's not going to be the Green Bay Packers. And they're still going to be all right on offense. I mean, Julio Jones wasn't going to help convert one of those third downs in the NFC Championship game. But Aaron Rodgers isn't going to magically throw up a 50-50 ball to Julio Jones that he wasn't going to throw up to Davante Adams. I just don't understand the obsession. Matt LaFleur can mend this. I hope so. We'll see. Julio's hamstring will be pulled by week 3. Now, we don't wish injury on anyone. But it's hard to deny that his body is breaking down a little bit as he gets older. Who knows how many actual games of service you'll get from the man. And that's why sending a premium pick is probably overpaying. But someone will. And then he'll catch a touchdown pass in a nationally televised game and everyone will freak out. Just, man, people are so swayed by the moment. Packers still dropping 30. You damn right, Carol. You damn right. Too old for this. Rodgers has no weapons. Better go get Jones, Hopkins, Jefferson, Kelsey. Sounds like a plan. Any chance Funchess and EQ make the team? Yeah, of course there's a chance. I think they're going to have to fight like hell. But yeah, of course there's a chance. They're not going to not make the team because they didn't come to voluntary OTAs. I'll tell you that. Haven't heard, but will training camp be open to the public? Great question. There has been no official word yet. My hunch is that it most certainly will be. Talking to people at 1265 Lombardi, sure sounds like things are trending that way, but there is no official word yet. Be on the lookout. I would have to think the Packers will be announcing the start of camp sometime soon. We'll get dates, what have you, and I think at that time we'll obviously get some kind of guidance and protocol listing for attendance. Good morning, Aaron. Good morning. How are you? MVS had a few great games. I think he shows up this year. I mean, MVS is the great lightning rod, right? I mean, that guy is amazing. He is absolutely amazing. His skill set is incredible. He is inconsistent, and that's what drives you mad. He's never going to be a bona fide one, I would say, but he is an incredibly complementary piece. And it's going to be very interesting to see, A, how productive he is this year, and then B, what kind of contract do you give him? I mean, I think he's heading into the last year of his deal, and they've got all these other issues with the salary cap. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be fascinating to watch that play out. But yes, I think for this season, he is an incredibly dangerous weapon for Aaron Rodgers, and people discounting him because of a few really ill-timed drops are doing themselves a disservice. Can Amari Rodgers outduel MVS? They're going to be very different types of players. Amari is obviously much more quick twitch, much more fluid. He'll be utilized a lot in the slot, in the backfield at some points, sometimes like Tyler Ervin, sometimes like Randall Cobb, but he'll be asked to get in space and make guys miss and do stuff after the catch. Whereas MVS, you guys know his game. He's straight line speed. He is absolutely take the top off the defense guy. Not that he can't do other things. We saw him, especially as the year went on. He did a better job of adding kind of complementary routes and plays to his arsenal, so to speak. But yeah, just very different type of players. And I think that's what sometimes people, and I'm not saying you specifically, but I think some people kind of lose track of that idea where, it has to be by the depth chart and it's Adams and then who. And it's like, no, it's Adams and then whatever works best against the defense you're facing. Um, as far as drawing up a game plan, utilizing the skill sets of the wide receivers on hand and how they might complement each other. There are going to be some weeks I think you're going to see quite a bit of MVS, and there's going to be some weeks where you see a lot more of Amari Rodgers, especially as the year goes on. But I don't think it's a question of, one is definitely going to beat out the other on the depth chart. I think it's going to be very much dependent on who they're facing and what kind of coverages they expect, what the matchups are personnel-wise. Those are the things that are going to drive production much more so than a spot on the depth chart. Did I enjoy the NFL Europe League? Yeah, of course. No, I'm not going to wish Jones was a Packer. Unless he becomes a Packer, then it's going to be great. This whole thing, I love the idea that Adams was triple covered. No, Adams was just covered. They rolled coverage to him. Yeah, no doubt about it. It's just hilarious. Oh, is Julio Jones going to stop Aaron Rodgers from taking the play clock down to 1, giving Shaq Barrett a jump on the snap count so he gets a free sack, essentially? Is Julio Jones going to stop Aaron Rodgers from hitting Davante Adams late in the end zone? Is Julio Jones going to stop Davante Adams from dropping a touchdown in the end zone? Is Julio Jones going to stop Aaron Jones from fumbling deep in his own end? Oh, let's just keep going. Is Aaron Jones going to make sure Kevin King doesn't have a brain fart at the end of the first half? Julio Jones has nothing to do with it. Could he be a nice addition? Yeah, absolutely. There's a million things that went wrong in that game, let alone with the team last year, that have nothing to do with adding a wide receiver. Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. They could have been the more number one offense in the league. Great point by you. Oh, Doxson, what's up? Nags, Appleton East or West, class of 91. That would be Appleton West, sir. Go Terrors. Maybe Julio has a cool glove trick. Yeah, fair point. He gives him more options. Great. To do what? If he's covered, it's not going to matter. He's not going to throw up a 50-50 ball. It's Aaron Rodgers. Welcome. Is this your first year watching the Packers? Is this your first year watching Aaron Rodgers play football? Aaron Rodgers. Oh, was Julio Jones going to make Aaron Rodgers hand the ball off to A.J. Dillon on the RPO rather than try and force one? More options. He's got a ton of options. What are you talking about? More options. Robert Tonyan set a franchise scoring record. Did you miss that? More options. The guy's got options coming out of his ears. Options on offense are not the problem. Good Lord. Why the lack of national love for Matt LaFleur and what he's brought since he arrived? I think it's all because it's overshadowed by Aaron Rodgers. I asked Matt about that last year, and he obviously punted and played it off. But yeah, I think Matt's done a really good job. There's no doubt that it's not just the coaching of the X's and O's and the scheme, but it's also injecting life into a dormant franchise. And that's one of those, things you can't ever quantify. And that's, you can't put it in a chart or on a graphic on ESPN. So it's not going to get talked about. But he completely changed the culture in one offseason. That's pretty damn impressive for a young guy who's never been a head coach, let alone in the NFL. Yeah, it's because it's hard to quantify what he's done. And then on the flip, and then like I led with, it's Aaron Rodgers, man. You see him with another quarterback, then he'll probably start getting some recognition. But as long as Aaron's in town, it will always be Aaron's show. And that's not a knock on Aaron. That's just the way it is. I mean, also, don't get it twisted. Aaron Rodgers is really fucking good. Man, it makes it hell of a lot easier to win ball games when you've got Now 3-time MVP under center. No doubt about that. Ronan. As an Arsenal and Packers fan, both seasons ended in such hurt. God, I hate Chelsea. How about that Champions League final? Woo! Yeah, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Champions of Europe, baby. Love it. Teams should always come before players. Sean, I hear you. And for the most part, I agree. But Aaron Rodgers is a special case. There's no doubt about that. Now, there are only certain levels to which I, subscribe to the idea of you have to make concessions for an all-star talent. And, we don't know what the demands are behind the scenes. I will say, if Aaron Rodgers truly does want Brian Gutekunst fired or he will, quote unquote, not return or whatever, well, then bon voyage, because that's fucking absurd and childish. But that said, Aaron has a point. I've talked about it in regards to the lack of communication from personnel, etc. Plenty of videos in the Aaron Rodgers drama playlist for you to check out on YouTube if you need to. Go Liverpool. Oh no, it's turned into an EPL chat. That's a cool shirt, Nags. Thanks. You can find it in our store. If you go to cheeseheadtv.com, on the top of the website, on the top of the page, you'll see a link to our store. There's a ton of merch there, but including this shirt. So if you haven't picked yours up yet, only team with 13 championships, folks. Get them while they're hot. Yes, Aaron is a special case, a head case. Steve, be nice. Kyle, what's up, man? Thanks for the super chat. Thoughts on safety depth? Does Vernon Scott play more? And do you think up off the Illinois State kid makes the team? He's got a chance on special teams, no doubt about it. Really like his tape. That doesn't mean much in the sense of what you do once you get to the NFL, but he's an athlete, man. Really like his physicality. As far as Vernon Scott, saw real glimpses last year. They, were kind of starting to mix him in here and there. I do think he's got the potential. It's a new scheme, though, so who knows how much mixing and matching they do on the personnel side. I think one of the things Matt was looking for when he hired Barry and moved on from Pettin was maybe a bit of streamlining personnel-wise, because, man, it was like a fucking fire drill sometimes under Pettin, and the same thing was kind of the same thing under Capers, and I think that kind of contributed to the kind of all the miscommunication at the end of the first half of the NFC Championship game, where Matt's calling for a certain coverage and they're trying to figure out who to get on the field. And, you heard Adrian Amos in an interview talk about, I wanted to call a timeout and say, are we all on the same page? Because they clearly weren't. I don't know how much mixing and matching there's going to be personnel wise, which makes me think if they do try to dial it back, it's probably fewer less opportunities for guys who are behind Amos and Savage, but we'll see how it works out. I think he's got a shot to play a little bit more from scrimmage. I do think he can be a special team stalwart in the meantime. No doubt about that. Otis, thanks for the super chat. Is Julio going to make Aaron happy? It wouldn't cool to have a Madden team like Philly did until we end up like Philly did. I mean, that's always the fear, right? But, if you're going for it, you're going for it. I understand the desire to bring names into the franchise, into the team, to quote unquote help Aaron Rodgers. Mike Sherman tried to do that a lot to get Brett back to the Super Bowl, and that all fell apart. Aaron Rodgers doesn't come back, and we get the Magic Man. Yeah, pull him out of retirement. Three guys that need to step up this year are Kiki, Sternberger, and Lowry. Very much agree. I think with Kiki and Sternberger, you've still got untapped potential. There's still ceiling to be reached. With Lowry, you've seen what he is. You've seen what he can do. He recently restructured his contract, obviously, to put himself maybe a little bit more in line pay grade wise. But, I mean, lunch pail guy. It's a cliche, but in his case, it's absolutely the truth and spot on. He's a worker bee. I know people are down on Lowry. He does a lot more than people think, and he actually sets up Kenny a lot. And I understand he's not a superstar, and he probably did get overpaid by Brian, no doubt about that. But he's a good football player who knows his role. And on this team, we've heard Rodgers, we've heard LaFleur talk about the need for guys who know their role and execute it. And I think Dean does a good job of that. All right, everybody. I'm going to have to get going. I can't thank you enough for hanging out, talking Packers Monday through Friday here on Packers Daily on all the Cheesehead TV social channels. Please do me a huge favor. Hit like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and then tell your friends and tell your family. Cheesehead TV, we are devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great day. Go Pack Go.